Hi everyone, it's Sunday, May 15th, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. Starting with the US, we're feeling a bit like a broken record, repeating the same thing every week. Despite some bargain shopping, demand was nothing to sing about and prices remain weak. China's woes are still weighing on the market, and the continuing restrictions there are causing trade problems across the board, obviously. Overall, producers are trying to stabilize things, and while prices were relatively steady this week, along with the few additions of 50 cents or so, it didn't sound like large volumes were sold. Heavy Texas steer prices remain weak, and selections at 62-64 pounds sold for $22 to $24, just $1 less than previously. In the cow sector, after last week's lower prices, they slipped again another $1 on some selections this week. Looking at the export totals, combined export sales for the week ending May 5th were 321,600, which is a whopping 43% lower than last week. Combined shipments were decent at 610,800, which is up 3% from last week. Slaughter for the week ending May 14th was identical to the previous one at 657,000. Now turning to Europe, editor Andrea Guolo reports that the market is still blocked by seller increases and tannery reluctance to buy without having the orders coming in. In the UK this week, prices were generally unchanged. Sellers are asking for £1.10 in sterling for the 36 plus in England, and in some cases they got it, but buyers could get the price down 5 cents lower for if they were buying larger volumes. In Ireland, prices for the same weight were confirmed at last week's level of €1 per kilo. Looking at European bulls, Andrea reports that lower prices are not going to happen as slaughter continues to decline. For southern German bulls, the only sales concluded with Italian tanneries this week were at €1.70 per kilo for the best quality 50 plus kilo selections. For European cows, prices were unchanged, but then very few contracts were signed this week. In the veal sector, work is stable and prices are unchanged, while for sheep, some origins are increasing their asking prices, and with the euro weak against the dollar, it's causing some issues. In his analysis, Andreas says that while the latest prices are stable or rising, very few contracts have actually been concluded in Europe, and that's because sellers are betting on recovery and good exports, but tanneries are not convinced yet because they just don't have the orders they've expected. Turning to South America, editor Ronald Guiel says that raw material prices again sagged. They dropped just 4 cents this week after a series of bigger declines. The average price is now $2.82 per kilo. On the other hand, TR1 was unchanged with a reference price of 90 cents per square foot, same as last week. Looking at other news from Brazil, beef slaughter was up in the first quarter of 2022, but tanning did decrease. Also, the Sustainable Origin Project is promoting some events with footwear sector leaders in the next couple of months. From elsewhere in Latin America, Argentina's April slaughter was down 9% from March. The 2022 edition of Colombia Moda and Colombia Tex is set for July 26 through 28. In Mexico, the CICEG says the children's footwear sector is still 40% behind where it was. In Paraguay, the April cattle slaughter, in Paraguay, the footwear exports plummeted in the first 4 months this year. And that's all we have for this week. And until next week, good night from HideNet.